You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
And good morning, everyone out there in radio and internet land. Glad to be here with you this morning on Sudbury News Talk. Each and every weekday morning between 7:30 and 8:30, we come at you live on CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio. We're also streaming live, cklu.ca, online. You just go to CKLU, you click on the Radio Player Canada app, and you can stream us. You can also download the Radio Player Canada app and take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. You could also listen to other CKLU programming that way. Just go to cklu.ca, look at the schedule, see what shows are on. There's always something for everybody on CKLU, your campus and community radio station. Been around since 1984. Started off in a little humble trailer on Ramsey Lake Road on the Laurentian University campus. And now we're located in the Old Telegraph Building, part of the MacEwan School of Architecture on the corner of Elgin and Elm Street, downtown Sudbury. While you're on cklu.ca, make sure to check out some of the merch there. And by purchasing the merch, you can support CKLU and help keep the lights on, keep the airwaves open. It's only due to listener support that we are able to keep everything running here. We also get a little bit of help from the Laurentian University students, but definitely not enough to keep everything running. So we appreciate Laurentian, and we appreciate you, a campus and community radio station. And with that, just want to let everybody know the views that are expressed on this show each and every day are that of myself, my co-hosts, my guests, those commenting, and do not necessarily reflect that of Laurentian University's staff or faculty or that of CKLU's staff or volunteers. So with that, let's let everybody know we're also streaming on facebook.com/Sudbury News and youtube.com/Sudbury News. We weren't on YouTube for about a week, but we're back up and running, and we're grateful for those platforms to be able to have this extended conversation with our community and abroad as we talk about community issues and more issues that are abroad that affect pretty much everyone and everyone everywhere. So with that, let's dive in with a little bit of weather, and we'll be back. We got Billy in the studio, so it's going to be a great conversation as usual, as we know. So we'll be back. Stay tuned. You're going to love today's show or your money back. Guaranteed. Stick around. Sudbury weather brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. Currently it is 0 degrees out there. It feels like -5. If you're around anywhere with water, you'll notice there's probably a little bit of ice. Today, mix of sun and cloud. The high will be +4. Tonight, few clouds, -1. Friday, a mix of sun and cloud, becoming sunny in the morning. +4 is your high. So already the forecast that had just unadulterated sun for Friday and Saturday is already adulterated with some clouds. So we'll see if that's the case. If we can have sunny on Saturday. So far it's mainly sunny on Friday. It's sunny on Saturday with a high of 6, and then a 60% chance of showers, high of 7 on Sunday, and a 40% chance of showers, high of 7 on Monday. Cloudy and 5, cloudy and 4 Tuesday and Wednesday as the temperatures start to go down. But hey, +4 on November 20th. Really can't complain myself. Now, look at your satellite. As you can see, very cloudy at the moment. Or is it? I think that's from 3 a.m. So tons of clouds in northern Ontario. Looks almost like a hurricane type, visual. Anyways, I know it's not that, but the clouds look almost circular, going all the way from west of Thunder Bay, all the way past Ottawa, all the way pretty much down to Toronto, and all the way up to James Bay. Just a big ball of cloud. And you have some precipitation activity going on coming through Michigan, so I'm not sure why we're not going to get any of that, but that's Environment Canada, and that's your forecast, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, Billy in the studio, and more right after this. And here we are. Billy is here. I wasn't. I'm delivering on the promise of Billy. He's been here for the last 10 minutes or so, and we've been chatting as we've been getting the show up and running. As there's always things. There's always batteries that die. There's always software that needs updated. There's always something wasn't plugged in or whatever. There was a power glitch the night before and it disrupted something. But we got off and running on time this morning, which I think is a miracle. And how are you doing this morning, Billy?
I'm doing great. It's been a while.
I know it has, but you've been working hard, right? So
I've been working moderately hard, yeah. I don't kill myself.
Okay. Well, no, you don't, but you do an amazing job. And the reason why you don't kill yourself is because you wouldn't be able to do the job if you were to do that, right? So,
well, I am.
Self-care.
I'm working to make my threshold a little bit higher all the time, so I am getting, used to working harder than I was before. So
you don't want to set the bar too high too early, right?
It's hard being around you because oh man, I got some room to move here.
Okay. Yeah. So with that, we have a few other people joining us here. Monique is online on Facebook. Good morning, Monique. Got a smiley emoji there. Judy as well. Good morning to you. Good morning, Pat. Smiley emoji. David, good morning. Take care. Stay safe. And the same with you, David. Hope all is well with yourself. And Nana, good morning. And blessings, everyone. Blessings to you as well, Nana. Thanks for being on. And I hope your health is doing well as well. And Denise, blessings, everyone, this morning. And same to you, Denise. Rick, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Rick and Monique. Grand Rising, heart emoji, exclamation point ×3. Liette, good morning, everyone. Peace sign, I'm sure from Collingwood. Hope you're doing well these days. And just between you and I, Calvin, my grandson, yesterday he says, "Where's Luke Skywalker?" And you would know what I mean by that. So thank you very much. We had a really great visit. Short but great visit when we were down in Collingwood for some training. We were able to stop by and have a little chat, and it was a great visit. And Marianne, good morning, everyone from Barrie, liked and shared as usual. And Judy, good morning, Billy. We've got a few morning Billies. The GOAT, morning boys. That's from Disabled Kane. I don't know if you could...
Yeah, I've got a short list of possibilities.
Okay, and you're probably spot on. Belinda, good morning. I hope that people finally come to realize that there is only one race, the human race, and that we are all members of it. We rise by lifting others. Heart emoji ×2.
Nice.
One race, doesn't that sound about right?
That's what I was taught.
Yep. Anything else is just divisional. It just separates people. It just puts them in different categories. And I don't know if we need to do that. I really don't in any way, shape, or form. It's almost like putting, Billy's got different color eyes than me. So somehow that makes him somewhat, on some scale that somebody made, higher or lower in some way that you can't even measure. Like when do we just realize what Belinda said, and that we are all one race?
Yeah. You ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
I have not. My age, and I thought you might be the same.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I guess there are people my age playing it at one point. So what?
Yeah. Well, it was big when I was a teenager, but it's
Okay,
kind of like that. The idea you get together and then you sort of pick your characters. You're gonna have these traits, and you're gonna try that. So that's kind of very similar to my worldview of like how it kind of works. We're just we picked these characters. We're gonna experience this, and it's really silly because we're all probably buddies up there having this kind of on the other side. So, but yeah, like you said, these little artificial divisions that
like at the core, we're all the same. We're all like come from the same place. We all function the same. However, we might have different colored skin, or might have a different religion, or have a different car that you drive than somebody else, different taste in music. It's like, sure, we're all the same, we're all different, but I think if you boil it down to that, we're all part of the same human race. It just, I think if that message got out there, it could be unifying instead of dividing, and I like that where you're at there, Belinda. Keep it up, keep it going. And Andrew, good morning. Thanks for being on, Andrew. Andrew's great because I ran into him quite a while back and I said, Andrew, he goes, I watch your show. I said, well, you got to come on and comment. He goes, well, I was thinking about it. And ever since then, he's come on every show and said good morning. So thank you very much, Andrew, for that. And Belinda, good morning. Billy, thumbs up.
morning.
Kind of a peace signy thing.
Sweet.
And Denise, good morning. Billy, Nana, it's Billy. Hi, Billy.
Thanks.
It's always great show when you're on, and welcome. All the Billy love is going around here from everyone and from all. And Marianne says, just an FYI, if people are traveling out of country, make sure where you're traveling will accept the Canadian passport. Some countries are not accepting them. What has the Prime Minister done? Kind of a confused emoji face. Have you heard of that at all, Billy, that some countries are not accepting a Canadian passport?
No, I haven't, but
Wow.
there's a lot of stuff I haven't heard.
That would be unprecedented. I don't know if there's ever been a time, maybe other than wartime or whatever, that's been the case, but that's very interesting. And Vin, morning to you. Marianne, good morning, Billy. Liette, glad your grandson enjoyed. Yeah, he loves Luke. And they have a whole list of vaccines they want people to travel to take. Fella here in Espanola is very sick now. He's very sorry he traveled. Interesting. That's Denise. Check out the Blue YouTube channel. You'll be blown away. Have you heard of that, Billy? The Blue?
The Blue, no.
Okay. Well, that's our homework for today.
Yeah.
That's from Monique. The Blue YouTube channel. We'll be blown away by the blue. Okay. A little bit of...
Good catch there.
Yeah. Denise, look up Blue Gold Wars. I'm going to be entering that very soon. Oh my goodness. So there's all kinds of stuff here. You're catching us a little bit off guard, but hey, it's always good. Looks like it might be the same thing. I'm not sure. Blue Gold Wars. There's always something for people if you know, that people commenting on the show. For people listening, it's really neat because then they could go, what is that? And
That's
go home
the whole point of the show.
check it out, you know? Yes, it's true. I've heard it a few times. Canadians are being rejected. We have terrorists in our country. We are considered a terrorist country now. That's Denise. So possibly, right? I don't know the reasoning, but we'll have to look into that. Marianne says there's a video of Kevin O'Leary saying he went to Cairo and had to use his Irish passport because they wouldn't allow him into the country with his Canadian passport. Kevin O'Leary branding himself as Mr. Wonderful these days. I don't know where that comes from or why. I don't know if I'm a fan of that particular branding or not. I don't think.
I remember his
Suits
old
him well.
brand. He branded himself the Merchant of Truth.
Okay.
And I thought, well, that's that's a valuable, because he'd be on a panel sometimes
Yeah.
it's to people saying all the nice things, but they're not calling out the obvious problem. So he would be that rude guy that would call out the problem with the product or whatever the situation was. But
He's kind of like the Simon Cowell of business,
yeah,
right?
sure.
Like
I
he's
think
not
that
going to
works.
candy coat things. He's going to say things that insult, but I guess he's not going to sugarcoat something he says.
Yeah, he's not going to waste time with the pleasantries. He's just
Yeah.
going to say, economy of words. He's going to just jump to it.
And good morning, Jerome. He says, good morning, dynamic duo. Good morning to you as well. Jerome is always on the run. On the run. He's makes him sound like he's done something wrong. He's always on the go. How about that? He's joins us from all over Ontario. So thanks for being on, Jerome. And he called out the Prime Minister too. Kevin O'Leary did. I've heard that a few times. He doesn't like his policies. He doesn't think that they're fiscally responsible from a business case or a business point of view. And it's not. It's an ideological point of view that he has. It's not, it's definitely not fiscally responsible. He makes decisions based on ideology, not on sound economics. There's no doubt about that. Mr. Wonderful, no self-esteem issues there. Belinda, yeah, exactly. Sounds like a wrestler or something, Mr. Wonderful. But yeah, I don't know if it suits him all that well. I like the Merchant of Truth idea a little bit better.
I don't know. Yeah, sometimes that stuff just kind of comes with the territory, if you want to.
Yeah. And he's more of a TV personality in that these days, right? So
It does. And it's that kind of thing. It's a disruptor. It provokes and kind of evokes a different kind of conversation,
Yep.
See, when Tony Robbins talks about, he'll say something really jarring and rude to people. And what it does is it breaks their pattern. They're kind of shocked for a second.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it allows for a slightly divergent, direction in conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
He says it's kind of a strategy to that. So there's
I like these disruptors, these people that just kind of shake it up or stir it and get things, instead of just the status quo all the time. Someone comes in and they're a social disruptor, whether economically or socially or whatever. They just disrupt like the status quo. And I sometimes fit that in different conversations. I'll just throw a stick in the spokes just to get everyone thinking. And I pay attention to people's facial expressions, which are always interesting. And I think I've started to become, better the more I do it, to say things maybe not as so that it stops a conversation from even happening. And someone says, oh, how about those Blue Jays? It actually gets people, their brain has to, first of all, it stops dead in its tracks. And then it's like, now where do I go? What do I say? How do I say it? And then they're able to at least come. And then you notice, wow, it's a vibrant conversation after that. So disrupting, there's an art to it if you want it to have a positive outcome.
Yeah, I work on that too. You ever see SNL's Debbie Downer? To
No.
having Thanksgiving and they're all and then she'll say something, yeah, the children of Ecuador, they don't get any food at all.
Oh
or
no, and
something.
then everybody's
Yeah.
silent.
But I can relate to that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. You bring up, especially these days, if you say, yeah, what do you think about the election in the United States or whatever, right? It's like, whoa, can of worms. I've seen so many reactions to that. And I'm like, well, he has been president before, right? And then they're having a hard time even computing that, almost like they forgot. Yeah. And then he was voted out and someone else was president after him. Yeah, well, that doesn't make sense because I'm told he's never going to leave, and all these things are going to happen. The end of the world is coming.
Yeah. Speaking of disruptors, he's got a lot of disruptor energy around him now, which again,
Yes.
he's got a mandate for it, because I think
sure.
people have kind of said, all right, we want a big change. We don't want the old system anymore. So
Yeah.
probably on some level, I think those people might kind of realize, because you think about what all of this stuff entails. If you have like RFK Jr. going in and digging into those files, there might be a lot of stuff coming out that, people don't really want to hear, but maybe we kind of know is there,
And we brought him up right at the beginning of the show, which isn't good, because then the whole show could be hijacked from
Right.
this particular conversation. But I will say that I think there's something up the sleeves of the opposition to. And good morning, Chris. Thanks for being on, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Same to you, Chris. But so I mentioned that Jerome was traveling all over, so he's been a mining contractor for 33 years. And worked with many wonderful people, maybe not Mr. Wonderful, but many wonderful people in many places across the country, and a couple of other countries as well. So definitely world traveler as well. I missed a comment from Liette about Mr. Wonderful. He said that he'd rather see a goat as the prime minister instead of Trudeau. Marianne says, when he said prime minister is the mouse and his cabinet is the broom, LOL, pretty much sums it up. Squash. All right. So Wolves are in action tomorrow night against the Windsor Spitfires at the Sudbury Community Arena. Puck drop is 7:05. Wolves doing not too bad this year. Billy's been to every home game and working on the sound, making sure it's as good as it can be. So if you're at the game and you have a suggestion for the sound, you can drop us an email here, and Billy's right here.
That's
so
right.
he could take your suggestions.
Or text 555.
Oh, yeah. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Don't text
that's a good-
555.
Yeah. No, that's good. There's a Wolves forum. It's a fan forum.
Oh.
So I'm always checking that to see if people are, griping about the sound. And well,
Yeah.
it is a Sudbury arena. There's not, there's different sound kind of in different spots. So
Yes.
if it doesn't sound good where you are, find
Yes.
another spot. I guess you can't do that. It's all ticketed seating there.
It is. Or you can just go to your ticketed seating and then look at a seat that's been vacant the whole game or whatever, the first period, and then go take that seat if you want. Or you can stand up at the whatever. You don't need a ticket for that.
Yeah. But definitely let me know. I'll do my best to rectify it.
So Disabled Kane is saying that maybe Kevin O'Leary wants to see Billy as the next Prime Minister of Canada.
No one wants to see that.
No, I don't know. You never know. But I think there's huge opposition in the United States I don't think we've seen the last of opposition before January 20th. I really don't. I think there's going to be many tactics and scenarios playing out. We'll see, because it's right now. It's happening. We're in real time.
A lot of people have a lot to lose.
Yeah. I heard that Joe Biden was going to resign, giving Kamala Harris the opportunity to be president for a couple months. So then they will, in fact, have the first woman president. And interestingly enough, if that happens, Kamala has only been elected, into the, whatever she was, Congress? Was she a congresswoman?
I'm not too sure.
I think that's what she was. So that's it. And then when she got into the party, she wasn't elected to be the party leader. Even the first round when Joe Biden won, she was out when she was running for the presidency. She was out one of the first ones, never had any support. Then Joe Biden picked her as the vice president, so that was just selected. And then this latest round when They were supposed to go through a process to find the next person to replace Joe Biden. Never did. She was just selected and then not voted in. So here's this. She's never been really voted in other than that, originally for Congress or whatever. And then she could end up being the president for a couple months. And who knows what happens then? There's all kinds of political mastery that can go on that changes the game and stuff. We've never, anyways, we haven't seen the last of it yet, put it that way.
Well, that was a perfect illustration of how, the loopholes and cracks in the system can sort of sidestep democracy.
100%. It's already happened, right? Yeah. With the appointment of their candidate who ended up losing to Donald Trump. And that wasn't a democratic process. They didn't follow the way that they're supposed to, elect, not select their leader. So just stay tuned. There's lots coming in the next few months. I guarantee it. I thought it was going to be a tie, but I still see the same scenario playing out without it being a tie. Because I heard
your contact in the White House.
My sources tell me that it's still could play out where they refuse to give Donald Trump the presidency on the fact that he was convicted by this committee of inciting an insurrection, and anyone who does that is disqualified as being the president. So they're going to play that card and all the other convictions he has. So in the media, you already hear it now, they say, how can a convicted criminal be the president? They're already saying that. And that's the reason why they did it in the first place, because they just want to be able to say he's a convicted criminal. Just saying that alone, it's almost like when you're accused of doing something, the front page of the paper says, Billy allegedly did this on the front page.
Yeah.
Billy allegedly hit AJ Walsh over the head with a guitar.
Right. Once you get the image, that's it. It's like
front page news.
Burned in black and white in your brain. Yeah.
Although he denies it. You deny it. Well, doesn't matter. It's, And then, 2 years later, way buried in the news, it's like, oh yeah, no, that's been sorted out and it didn't actually happen. But the media is powerful. It's super powerful, and the powers that be obviously understand it. That's why they own it. That's why they own the media. They're super powerful, own the media. You think Jeff Bezos, he's a super powerful guy? Why do you think he owns media? Why? If media is dying and all these things and whatever, why does he own a substantial chunk of media? And why does Bill Gates, I said his name, sorry, William, Mr. William Gates, why does he own a substantial chunk of media? Microsoft, NBC, MSNBC.
Yeah, I think that's up for sale too, eh? Did you hear that?
Is it? I didn't hear that, but so speaking of disruptor, that just disrupted. My whole point was that they want to own it. They don't want to sell it. But that's okay. I didn't hear that it was up for sale. No.
Yeah, I get the feeling that's kind of a public sort of front, the whole selling of stuff, because these things they're almost as important as military assets. So if you're on one side or the other, I think you're gonna,
and then they'll just
pay way more than it's worth to have something, have an arm of information, right?
It's an arm of information. That's all it is. Speaking of arm of information, we have our own arm of information in Sudbury.news, which is our local news aggregator. All local news comes to one convenient location. Reason being is our federal government made a policy that made it impossible for news organizations to have even a Facebook page. We don't live in a communist country, but we don't have the ability to have our news outlets have a Facebook page. So there's something weird about that. Just ask yourself why. But we've come up with a solution, and you can just go to Sudbury.news and find all the news from CBC, CTV, Sudbury.com, Sudbury Star. Now, there's been a couple happenings in the city lately, Billy. Have you been up on latest, greatest?
No, that's why I'm here. I'm hoping you're going to tell me.
Well, the city CAO, that's about old news by now.
Saw the headline.
You know, that he was let go. We don't have the reason, but they're searching for a new CAO for the city. I don't know if you've applied or not.
Again, not my bag.
No. Okay. There's about a $300,000 salary that you'd be able to come into there.
Way too low for me.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of figured that. Then this latest reports from our integrity commissioner on Bill Leduc, Mike Parent, and Natalie Labby. Bill Leduc put up a meme saying, back in my day, we had Wonder Woman, and now y'all don't even know what a woman is, kind of thing. And he said he was hacked. He didn't put that up. Although there's been similar memes that he's put on his Facebook page that he has admitted to. Anyways, integrity commissioner just kind of went meh to him. And then Mike Parent made a comment on Facebook about the $5 fee at the garbage at the landfills here in Sudbury, and said basically they kind of slipped that into a huge, almost 700-page report. And it was like on page 677 or 633, something like that, way in the back. Just slipped it in. So he said, well, that's weird. Staff is kind of just slipping that in. And Natalie Labby came out and said, yeah, you know, and she agreed with it and kind of made some more comments. So the integrity commissioner, based on 2 complaints that were made, one complaint was taken back and said, okay, no, I'm going to take my complaint back. But an anonymous one stood, and these anonymous complaints, remember, we've been talking about those. They want to get rid of anonymous complaints, which has good and bad to it, because whistleblowers sometimes can't, you know, they have to put their job on the line if they're going to make a complaint for something. But hey, so the integrity commissioner, they took it up at the city council meeting on Tuesday, and basically they fired the integrity commissioner and said, your services are no longer wanted. Council voted in favor, like 7-6, to fire him. The mayor was not in agreement with this. Didn't necessarily agree that he would be fired. But he was. He's given 180 days notice. And now they're on the hunt for a new integrity commissioner along with a new CAO. So maybe you want to apply for that one instead.
You know? I like judging.
Yeah, see?
I just sit back, cross my arms, and...
Exactly. Maybe we could use this show. We can be the integrity commissioner for the city, just the show itself, and have everybody on and discuss it and have the public weigh in and then take a vote. Okay, public, do you think we should do X, Y, or Z? What do you think? Get all your votes in before 9 o'clock, and then we will do whatever everybody votes on.
That's an interesting thought.
Like have a public, like online forum, and it's a discussion and people's comments are coming in and everyone can see where everyone stands on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you know, society will have to find the balance, because I mean, part of the whole idea of having, you know, elected officials is people who are going to do all the stuff. Like, you don't want to be tasked with having to pay attention to everything all the time. And, you know, you got to live your own life and trust that some people are going to take care of the, you know, the clockwork behind the machine there.
It's true. But there needs to be, like you said, a balance as well, where people can still, I like the idea of these referendums and voting on things. There's not, because why should it just be up to one person, these huge decisions? it actually alleviates some of that. Now they got to go to all the meetings, they got to do all the reading of all the reports, that's a lot of tedious work that they have to do. Now they can just surmise what's in these reports, come on a show like this, have a discussion about it where people ask questions, and then they're informed based on the discussion. And then, hey, okay, let's put this to a vote now.
I do like the idea of a referendum system. Maybe you could have that if you wanted to, you could make all these decisions, little votes, vote on every little thing.
Yeah.
Or you can look at the voting record of, say, a counselor type position, and you see that, okay, this person has voted 95% the way of things that I like. I can defer my votes to this person. Huh. And then you just kind of keep an eye on it. If that person sort of, oh, wait, it's getting too low, I'm going to find somebody else who's got.
For sure.
And then you can take matters into your own hands. If no one's voting the way you would vote on stuff, then, all right, I'm going to vote myself on all these little things.
Mm-hmm. Or even the idea of maybe it's not an official thing, but you still do, have a forum, this format where you really get to the bottom. You have the people in the know in the conversation. You have someone who's not afraid to actually ask hard questions. So people know it's real. It's not just, vetted. And then at the end of it, it's on demand too. And so give people a couple days to watch the on demand, get informed of whatever it is that they're going to be voting on. And then they do a vote. And the vote isn't official. It's not like, okay, 80% of people who weighed in on this said this. It has to be done now. No, they just take this into account. So when they're discussing it as people who have the authority, councillors and the mayor and everybody, they say, okay, according to the forum, the online forum where we had people, 80% of people, and there were 700 people who participated, and they're from all different backgrounds and walks of life and whatever. 80% of these 700 people who participated said they want this, that, or the other. Then they can say, yeah, you know what? We don't care about what the 80% said. We're going to do whatever we want. So then it kind of shows a little bit where decisions are being made and how they stand compared to what the people are wanting. So it actually gives another layer, I guess, or takes away a layer of secrecy. It adds some more transparency to the process, at least, because if 80% of people are saying something and they still decide to do something contrary, at least now that's open. Oh, that's interesting.
Right.
Why did they go ahead with it, even though they knew most people are against it? Well, then now they have to answer that. Oh, the reason being is because
use the $5 at the dump example. If they put that out to the public,
right,
chances are it would come back.
They can't.
Pretty negative.
Yeah, no one's going to.
Everyone's going to say, "No, I don't like that."
Yeah, I don't want that. However, if they make the argument of, well, we're not going to have a dump then because the costs and whatever, and then it forces more transparency, is what I'm saying. If they have to answer to that, they have to say,
they'd raise taxes probably on the property owners. But I mean, if you have a large amount of renters,
yeah,
and then they don't see the direct effect as much. So
possibly, yeah. Again, I like the idea of open discussion on things and not being compromised by whatever parties,
not done in secrecy.
No, exactly. You can if you can make an argument for it, which you should, if you want to do something, you have an agenda, you want to move your business forward, or you want to move something forward, a city project or whatever, you should be able to articulate that argument well enough to make a good case for it and have people be, okay, well, at least I can see why we're doing that, and I think the more of that, the more healthy a society can be. Take case in point with these bike lanes. There's some people who'd like to have the city be carless. They just want to walk everywhere. And I know that. There's people on that extreme side. And there's people that say, to heck with bikes. We don't need any bikes. Cars everywhere. You know what I mean? But there needs to be some kind of compromise. The problem is, with downtown, it's so congested to find any parking or anything. Now we got a new bike lane added, this is from CBC, added in downtown Sudbury on a one-way busy street. Right? So this is from Jonathan Migno. Says a new bike lane on Larch Street will allow cyclists to travel eastbound through downtown. A busy one-way street in downtown Sudbury has a new bike lane. And vehicular traffic is now down to one lane. If you were to drive down Larch Street now, you'll see that instead of 2 eastbound lanes, there is 1 eastbound travel lane as well as a dedicated parking lane. And then a bike lane adjacent to the curb, said David Knutson from the city of Greater Sudbury. Knutson says the city chose to add a bike lane to Larch Street as part of an active transportation plan. The street connects 2 busier thoroughfares, Elgin Street and Paris Street. So again, it's been done. It's done now. You have 1 lane. Your thoughts, Billy?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I've always kind of liked the idea of bike lanes. So I would have to see, I guess, how much it congests traffic. If they made a case that it didn't congest traffic, I'd say great.
Did they have to take up the whole lane? Like, did they have to? It was a 2-lane, one way.
Yeah.
Did they have to take up a full car lane for a bike lane? You know what I mean?
That is a question I don't know. It's possible. Possible they had to do it.
Yeah.
They could have gone, European size lanes, I guess. Made people just drive a little tighter.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So this idea of planning, if everything was out there, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And I know there are some issues with the staff of the city making these plans and not really being all that transparent. And then we end up with things and then people are like, what? How did that happen? I remember they took away a lot of the ability to drive downtown and put these potted plants and trees and stuff way back in the day. And I was like, it's really hard to find parking downtown already. And we're taking away all of the ability to travel and putting in plants and trees. It's like it's not functional anymore. Sure, plants are nice, trees are nice, but it's not functional. And all these businesses downtown that relied on people being able to come downtown to shop at their store or eat in their restaurant or do whatever, it's a lot harder now. And so it affects business. It affects your economics of your city. And they have already had a hard go with all of the urban sprawl, with all the box stores outside of downtown, and that was just not helping anything whatsoever. So, it's these visions that people have. I think the vision that Sudbury has of the downtown is no cars, is what I've been hearing. They want to go carless. They want to be able to go downtown, have condos where people are living there, green space, walking everywhere. That's their ultimate vision, and they're making their way to that slowly but surely. But is it what everybody is kind of on,
Yeah. Well, I wonder what the downtown organization, because that's, that's how it works, right? All the local businesses, they kind of have that organization as their spokesperson to the local government. So I wonder what they think on these things. What's, are they feeling the pinch because of the local traffic issues, or?
Yeah.
Or is the fact that there's plants and trees more of a,
I think you just go down and talk to people. Just talk. Yeah. That's why I like this format so much. Talk to people, like actual people. Don't just go and have your reports given to you by the UN or some NGO group that wants, like what, and good morning, by the way, Jenny. Thanks for joining us. And haven't seen you on for a while. And wait for the implementation of 15-minute cities, TGE nodes, and biodigital convergence, right? So these are the things some residents are seeing these plans that have been in the works for these, the idea of 15-minute cities. At one point, we were saying it's a conspiracy theory. They were brought up in these town hall meetings. Now we know that they're not. They just give them a different name, and it's the same idea. It's just to be able to get rid of our ability to travel everywhere, and you have to be within 15 minutes of anything you want to get, whether it's medical, whether it's grocery store, whatever. You should be within a 15-minute commute and not with a vehicle. They don't like the idea of vehicles. So you can kind of see what they're doing with downtown already. But again, just make it more transparent. Don't call the idea of a 15-minute city a conspiracy. Embrace it. Say that's what you're going for if that's what you're doing. Why lie? You don't have to lie. So you just want to come out. So on that same note, they released a report on these automated cameras, right? To keep us safe. That's the reason why they're there. And Billy, I don't know about you. Do you feel safer now that we've had the automated speed cameras?
I'm kind of in the middle on that. Like they definitely work.
Did you feel that you were in danger when you were driving, or that you were putting other people's lives in danger before the installation of the automated cameras?
Funny you should say that. I was picking up one of my coworkers right kind of on that stretch, when you come over the hill. Anyway, that...
Okay. At a
you know the part I'm talking about.
Location.
There's hill. There's like some trees off to the side there. And, turning in that area was pretty bad by the Valcaron one there. And it was, so I think traffic slowed down, and I think it is a little bit safer turning in there. So that was a spot where it's probably helped out because, I didn't care about it as much before,
Yeah.
But
so you didn't feel unsafe before. It's just you feel it's a little more navigatable now that in certain areas the traffic is slowed.
Well, I'd say it seemed a little more dangerous before when you're trying to get in there and they're whizzing by.
There you go. That's the reason why we discuss things, because not everyone agrees on everything. And I never felt any more unsafe. I don't feel any more safer now. People, when they go by these cameras, they slow down to the point where they're not going to get a ticket, and then they speed up again. So for those areas where they have the cameras, people are driving slower, right? But for the other areas, right after,
and maybe it's kind of strategic because there's a lot of that area where it probably doesn't need to be as slow, but they have to do the whole section anyway, right?
Yes.
So if you have like one really bad turn, where people can't see around the corner, and people are still maintaining that speed, they can put one there.
Yep.
Slows people down for that,
for sure,
400 feet or whatever.
And I think that was the actual argument that was made. We don't really think they're there for our safety because they're not in school zones. That's the area they were saying, like where would you want to be the safest and have drivers actually drive the slowest? Well, that'd be a school zone, not one camera in a school zone. So that to me right away, it's like, it's on areas that are open stretches. They're just open stretches. That's where most of these cameras are. They're not on corners where they would keep you safer. You know what I mean? So it's not about safety. In my mind, they're using that. I don't know why they keep saying it. It's not about safety. Just speak the truth. It's fine. Just why can't you say why it's really there? And that's why discussions are so good, because they're not entirely a bad thing, is what we're saying, right? You can use them for the reasons you're saying. Just again, if you're going to say that, you got to back it up. Fewer people are running red lights and motorists have slowed down to get closer to the speed limits at the sites Greater Sudbury's automated traffic enforcement cameras have been placed. So the 6, we know where they are. They kind of changed them around, and there's going to be new ones in January. So check out our news aggregator, Sudbury.news. There's a story from Sudbury.com there. You click on it, you can see the list of where the new roads are going to be. A report by David Knutson. He's the transportation engineering analyst. We already talked about him talking about the new bike lane. Was tabled for November 18th Operations Committee meeting of City Council and outlines the camera's success. They're a success. The success of the city's 6 red light cameras weren't as clearly defined as the speed cameras, though Knutson's report noted a slight drop in right-angle collisions, with 5 recorded in 2023 and 16 recorded in pre-pandemic year of 2019. Of course you have that statistic because it sounds like it's doing a lot of good. But let's see if we continue with the statistics which we are looking for to see how safe these cameras were keeping us. How many accidents? Well, how fewer accidents are we having now? How many speeding tickets on average have we been given in those areas? How many speeding tickets are given now? We don't have that information. I don't know why. Because it doesn't sound good. It doesn't make good for the argument of having these things, right? Transparency. City staff. We have an example of it right here. Data regarding rear-end collisions, which are often increase at locations with red light cameras, is incomplete and does not show a correlation. Oh, that's interesting. So, data is incomplete. What does that even mean? Billy? How can you have incomplete data? Is that even a thing?
Yeah, what's the other word they use in scientific papers? Inconclusive. It's like, and sometimes when you look at them, you can, well,
wait a minute.
If you're a little bit judgy like
I
me, you could go, wait a second. There's a big difference in these numbers. How are you calling them inconclusive?
Experts say, evidence-based science, all these words people use these days. I was reading that in a new whatever. I might cover that tomorrow. Meanwhile, 9,105 charges have been issued between the start of the red light camera program in September 2023 and the end of August, with notable decreases during the winter months and this year's summer peak spiking at just north of 400 per month, which is approximately 200 accidents shy of the previous 2 years' peak of more than 600.
600 what?
Accidents.
Accidents? What are they talking? Ontario?
See, this is the thing. They're just spewing out numbers. When it comes to something that you really want to know, there's incomplete data, so you can't. And there's no correlation. Okay. But when they have something that sounds like it goes to in their benefit to show how successful this is, then they use it, but they don't explain, is that in Sudbury? Is that in Ontario? Is that in whatever, right? You would think it would just be Sudbury, because what else are they talking about? Because 9,105 charges have been issued between the start of the program and the end of August. So, I don't know, almost 2 years. And they said a notable decrease during the winter months. So that's charges that were laid.
Right. What did they say about the accidents? Was that approximately up?
No, that was incidents. So I think that was...
200 incidents.
Yeah, so they had 400. I might have misspoke it. I might have misread that. So the charges that were made. So 9,105 charges since its inception to the end of August. Was spiking at just north of 400 per month, which is approximately 200 incidents shy of previous 2 years' peak of more than 600. So it's showing that there's less and less people getting tickets because they're slowing down and they're not running lights. A lower instance of tickets being issued directly results from less motorists running red lights and therefore eliminating the potential for a collision to occur when doing so. So it's all about this. We just know that slower speed, like you said, is better. That's all they end up saying. They can't really show the statistics, how many less people have died now, how many less insurance claims, these things. Those types of data are inconclusive and don't show any correlation, right?
Yeah, insurance should have all the data for sure.
Of course. And why aren't we getting lower insurance rates in Sudbury? Anyone ask that question? Like, why don't we get lower insurance rates? Our city is that much safer now. Insurance should be like, whoa, do you live in Sudbury? Well, you're going to get a discount on your insurance now. If it's safer, why wouldn't that be the case? So where's the evidence of this? That to me is real evidence. You get a discount if you have snow tires on your car. Why don't you get a discount if you live in Sudbury? Right? For all these cameras and red, lights.
That's a much better sell to the public.
Exactly. But they can't.
So we'll put this in here, but we'll do
You know why? Because they have to show the evidence. And the insurance will go, there's no evidence to show it's any safer. No, but we have data that's inconclusive. Can't we give them lower rates? Anyways, you see where I stand on this whole thing. That's all the time we got today, Billy.
Well, it's always fun.
Time just flies. Time flies when you're having fun. And we're definitely having fun today at the expense of, I don't know, people here in the city.
No one was harmed in this episode.
No one was harmed in the episode. It was all in respectful, good fun. We like the idea that we can have open conversations and about people, and anyone from the city is welcome on this show anytime to come on, have a conversation anytime. We have Mike, we have Natalie, we've had other counselors on as well. We've had candidates on as they're running. Anyone's welcome on the show. I think it's healthy to just come on and engage our public, not just through the news articles, right, with quotes and whatever. Come on and have a conversation. Field some questions from people, and it's really healthy. So anyways, it's been healthy today with Billy in the studio. Hopefully we can come back sooner than later.
For sure.
And stay tuned now, everyone, for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Make sure to continue to be aware, like, share, take care, and we'll see you same time, same place, God willing, on the same platforms tomorrow. Have a wonderful, safe, enjoyable, great, fantabulous Thursday.
Thanks, everyone.
Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.